Imagine this. It's 2026. You've just finished a long day. You get into your car, and in the time it takes to grab a coffee and answer a couple of messages, your sleek electric sedan has added hundreds of kilometers of range and then silently launches you from 0 to 100 in under 3 seconds. Today we're looking at the cars that will make that future feel completely normal. The new wave of full electric sedans arriving by 2026. And in this video, we're going to break down the tech, the platforms, the batteries, and the driving experience behind each of them so you can decide which one fits your version of the EV future. Let's start with the car that quietly might become the new default luxury electric sedan, the Volvo ES90. This is Volvo's new flagship saloon, a full-size EV that sits above the S90 and rides on the latest evolution of their SPA platform. The key number here is the electrical architecture. The ES90 is the first Volvo to move to an 800-volt system, which dramatically improves both efficiency and DC fast charging performance. In its single-motor extended range configuration, you get a rear-wheel drive layout with 245 kilowatts, roughly 333 horsepower, and 480 Nm of torque. That's good for 0-100 km/h in about 6.6 seconds. Quick, but tuned more for smooth, effortless thrust than neck-snapping launches. A 92 kilowatt-hour battery, nominal, feeds that motor, and Volvo quotes up to around 755 kilometers of range on the WLTP cycle with an energy consumption figure of about 16 kilowatt-hours per 100 kilometers. Because of the 800-volt hardware, on a 350 kilowatt capable charger, Volvo says you can go from 10 to 80% in roughly 22 minutes, which is firmly in stretch your legs and grab a snack territory, rather than plan a whole side activity while you wait. Dimensionally, it's a big car, around 5 meters long with a wheelbase just over 3.1 meters, and the interior is very much Scandinavian lounge. Wool blends, calm colors, a huge panoramic roof, and a minimalist Google-based infotainment stack. Underneath that calm design, though, Volvo is throwing serious tech at safety and automation. The ES90 is designed around a dense sensor suite, with lidar offered in many markets, and is built to support progressively more advanced driver assist as software updates roll in over time. Think of the ES90 as long-range business jet on wheels. Not the loudest or flashiest spec sheet, but an extremely efficient 800-volt, big battery sedan built for people who actually do 400-plus kilometer days. From Nordic calm to German engineering theater, let's talk about the 2026 BMW 3 Series Neue Klasse. BMW is being a bit coy with the exact badging, but we know this. The first Neue Klasse sedan is a sporty electric 4-door for the premium mid-range segment. In other words, the next generation 3 Series in everything but name. Production of this electric sedan starts in 2026 at BMW's Munich plant, which is being retooled to build only all-electric models from 2027 onward. The platform itself is a huge step, 6th generation BMW eDrive, an all-new battery and motor system that BMW says will deliver around 30% more range, 30% faster charging, and roughly 25% better overall efficiency compared with today's BMW EVs. Again, the magic phrase is 800 volt. The Neue Klasse is designed for high-voltage fast charging and for bidirectional capability, meaning the car can act as energy storage for your home or even feed electricity back into the grid. Inside, BMW is going all in on digital, with the Vision Neue Klasse showing off a panoramic projection across the base of the windscreen. BMW Panoramic Vision, combined with a central touchscreen and next-gen iDrive. What's important from a driver's perspective is that BMW is explicitly tuning this sedan to still feel like a 3 Series. Low seating position, longitudinal battery integration to keep the center of gravity right where they want it, and a strong focus on steering feedback and chassis balance. Official power and range numbers for the exact 2026 production sedan aren't yet locked in publicly, but BMW is already talking about significantly longer range than their current i4 and a user experience that blends old-school driver's car feel with a very futuristic digital cabin. Mazda's approach, with the EZ-6, is very different and very Mazda. Co-developed with Changan in China, the EZ-6 is a mid-size sedan engineered from the outset as an electrified model with a strong driver-focused flavor. Mazda describes the design theme as authentic modern, with a sleek coupe-like silhouette that still reads as a proper sedan. And under the skin, there are two versions, a BEV and a PHEV. For our purposes, we care about the full electric EZ6. It's rear-wheel drive, with a 50-50 front-to-rear weight distribution on the BEV model, independent strut front suspension, and a multi-link rear, and even an active rear spoiler designed to add stability at higher speeds. Range is quoted at around 600 kilometers on the Chinese CLTC cycle for the BEV, with the plug-in hybrid version stretching to more than 1,000 kilometers of combined range. But the important thing is how Mazda has tuned the response. They talk a lot about Jinba-Ittai, that feeling that car and driver move as one, and that shows up in things like linear brake and steering feel, carefully shaped acceleration mapping, and a chassis set up to respond immediately but progressively when you turn in. At about 4.92 meters long and nearly 1.9 meters wide, the EZ6 is a sizable D-segment sedan, and it layers in sophisticated digital features too. Intelligent parking that can be controlled by voice from outside the car, multi-mode smart cabin controls using voice, touch, and gesture, and a full suite of active safety and driver assist tech tailored for the Chinese market. If you like the idea of a driver's car first and an EV second, Mazda's EZ6 BEV variant might be one of the most interesting electric sedans coming out of China. If Mazda is driver's car in disguise, the Kia EV4 is more like all-rounder disruptor. Kia calls it a new EV typology, effectively a compact electric sedan hatchback designed to be the entry point to their dedicated EV lineup. And it's built on the same eGMP architecture that underpins the EV6 and other Hyundai Kia EVs. Here, though, the focus is range and accessibility. Kia quotes up to roughly 633 kilometers of WLTP range, depending on version, from a battery of about 81.4 kilowatt-hours, and the EV4 supports DC fast charging that can take you from 10 to 80% in just over 30 minutes at up to 150 kilowatts on a 400-volt system. Because it's on eGMP, you get the familiar low-mounted pack, long wheelbase, and naturally good weight distribution that make these cars surprisingly fun to drive. Inside, Kia fits a tri-screen layout, dual 12.3-inch displays plus a narrow climate-control touchscreen running their latest CCNC infotainment, and even an AI assistant to help with navigation and voice commands. Safety and driver assist are a big story here too. The EV4 features the latest Highway Driving Assist 2.0, a sophisticated adaptive cruise and lane centering system, plus a smart regenerative system plus that can automatically adjust regen levels based on traffic, corners, roundabouts, and speed limits. Perhaps the most surprising piece is entertainment. Kia highlights optional in-car gaming and streaming via LG WebOS, managed through their Kia Connect store, a hint of how EVs are being designed around what you do while you're parked and charging, not just how they drive. In short, the EV4 is the practical one. Long range, genuinely usable charging speeds, and a lot of tech at what should be a lower entry price than many of the other cars on this list. Now let's move up into the high-performance end with the Polestar 5. This is a big one. Polestar's first bespoke EV architecture, an F-segment four-door GT that translates the radical Polestar Precept concept almost directly into production form. The underlying structure is a bonded aluminum unibody, developed in-house, which combines high stiffness with relatively low mass, the kind of hardware you usually see on supercars rather than family sedans. On top of that sits an 800-volt battery system and a newly developed dual-motor powertrain that, in launch guise, produces around 884 horsepower and 664 pound-feet of torque. That's supercar power in a four-door GT. Polestar's own messaging stresses not just straight-line acceleration, but repeatable performance. Sophisticated aerodynamics, Magnaride adaptive dampers, and Michelin performance tires are there to make sure the car can lap a circuit without wilting. The design is very slippery, with a low nose, long wheelbase, and tapered rear that keep the drag coefficient down, all of which helps range and high-speed stability. Inside, the Polestar 5 continues the brand's theme of minimalism with sustainable materials, a portrait-style central display, and a driver environment firmly focused on the essentials. This is the car in our list that's most clearly aimed straight at Porsche Taycan and Tesla Model S Plaid buyers. serious grand touring pace, cutting-edge 800-volt tech, and a strong design identity. Mercedes-Benz, meanwhile, is attacking the compact luxury segment with the next-generation CLA, previewed very clearly by the concept CLA class. While the concept itself is a show car, Mercedes has said that it is close to production and represents the first model family on the new Mercedes-Benz modular architecture, or MMA. The all-electric version of the upcoming CLA is built around a highly efficient new drive unit and battery system that Mercedes claims can deliver more than 750 kilometers of range on a single charge on the WLTP cycle. With energy consumption of around 12 kilowatt-hours per 100 kilometers, that's 1-liter car territory, but for an EV. That efficiency comes from a few places. A particularly slippery body with a long, elegant wheelbase and carefully sculpted aero, an in-house developed electric drive unit optimized for low losses, and a new battery chemistry and packaging strategy on MMA. Inside, the CLA will be the launch vehicle for Mercedes-Benz operating system, MB.OS, and an AI-driven MB.OS virtual assistant that can interact with you in a much more natural conversational way, anticipate needs, and tie car functions, navigation, and infotainment together more tightly than the current MB.OS. Think of the next CLA EV as the tech flagship for normal money, a car that sits at the gateway to the Mercedes brand, but showcases their very latest software-defined vehicle and ultra-efficient drivetrain technology. Let's shift to one of the current benchmarks for value and engineering innovation in this space, the BYD Seal. BYD has turned a lot of heads in Europe and other markets with this car, and on paper it's easy to see why. The Seal sits on BYD's e-Platform 3.0 and uses their in-house Blade battery in a cell-to-body (CTB) configuration, where the battery pack is structurally integrated into the floor of the car. In high-spec form, the Seal packs an 82.5 kilowatt-hours pack and offers up to about 570 kilometers of WLTP combined range, with a very competitive 0-100 kilometers per hour time of around 3.8 seconds for the all-wheel drive performance variant. The CTB architecture increases torsional rigidity and helps reduce overall height, which in turn lowers the center of gravity. Coupled with double wishbone front suspension and a 5-link rear, the Seal is set up to feel more like a proper sports sedan than a soft commuter. The drag coefficient is just 0.219, which puts it into very slippery territory and again boosts highway efficiency. BYD quotes 150 kilowatt DC fast charging with a 30 to 80% window, taking on the order of the mid-20 minutes. On the tech side, you get BYD's signature rotating central touchscreen, a head-up display, their ITAC, intelligent torque adaptation control system to manage traction in a more predictive way, and a full suite of modern ADAS. The Seal is the quiet assassin in this lineup. Very serious hardware, very serious range, and usually a lower price than many of its European rivals. If BYD is the value disruptor, Nio's ET7 is more of a technology demonstrator for what a high-end smart electric executive sedan can be. This is a large car, just over 5.9 meters long, with a 3,160 millimeters wheelbase, so think E-Class or 5 Series in footprint, but entirely electric. It's built on Nio's NT 2.0 platform and supports multiple battery packs, up to a 150 kilowatt-hour ultra-long-range pack that has allowed the ET7 to exceed 1,000 kilometers in real-world range challenge tests in China. Powertrain-wise, the ET7 uses a dual-motor setup with a permanent magnet synchronous motor up front and an induction motor at the rear, delivering strong all-wheel drive performance and smooth torque delivery. But the real headline is the sensor and compute layout. The ET7 integrates 33 high-performance sensors, including a roof-mounted high-resolution lidar, multiple high-definition cameras, radars, ultrasonic sensors, and high-precision positioning units, all feeding into Nio's Atom supercomputer built around 4 NVIDIA Orin SoCs for over 1,000 TOPS of processing power. This hardware underpins Nio's NAD, Nio Autonomous Driving, subscription service, which is designed to offer progressively more capable hands-off driving features via software updates. Inside, the ET7 leans into a lounge-like, business-class experience with advanced seats, a panoramic pano display concept, and the Nio Link digital ecosystem that ties phone, home, and car together. The other twist, of course, is Nio's battery swap ecosystem, which lets ET7 owners choose between conventional DC fast charging and automated pack swapping at Nio power swap stations. The result is a sedan that's as much about the ecosystem and software as it is about the metal. On the opposite end of the subtlety spectrum sits the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra. Xiaomi is very explicit that the SU7 and SU7 Ultra are currently products for the Chinese mainland only, but the technology is interesting enough that we have to talk about it. The SU7 family is positioned as a full-size high-performance eco-technology sedan, and the Ultra is the extreme performance flagship. Xiaomi states that the SU7 Ultra uses a tri-motor configuration and a track-optimized high-power battery pack derived from the SU7 Ultra prototype. Officially, the production SU7 Ultra generates up to 1,548 PS of peak power and can accelerate from 0 to 100 km/h in roughly 1.98 seconds without a 1-foot rollout, with a top speed of up to 350 km/h, making it, at launch, the fastest mass-produced four-door sedan in the world by that metric, according to Xiaomi. Beyond the raw numbers, what sets the SU7 platform apart is Xiaomi's attempt to treat the car as a large, rolling smart device. The sedan runs Xiaomi HyperOS, integrating deeply with Xiaomi phones, tablets, and smart home gear, and uses an in-house developed electronic and software architecture intended to give very fine control over powertrain, chassis, and user interface behavior. The Ultra, specifically, is about exploring the limits: track-focused aerodynamics, extremely high-performance brakes and tires, and a chassis tuned to cope with those acceleration and top speed numbers. It's not the sensible choice in this list, but it is a clear sign of what happens when a major consumer electronics player takes EV performance as a brand statement. Now let's tie all of this together by thinking about what 2026 actually looks like if these cars are on the road at the same time. At the more sensible end of the spectrum, cars like the Volvo ES90, Kia EV4, Mazda EZ-6 BEV, and BYD Seal are showing us that long-range, efficient electric sedans are becoming normalized. ES90 and Polestar 5 push 800-volt architectures and big batteries into both luxury and performance spaces, giving you the ability to cover 500 to 700 plus kilometers in a day with a single fast charge stop if you need it. The Kia EV4 and Mazda EZ-6 prove that you don't need a flagship price bracket to access sophisticated chassis design, long WLTP or CLTC ranges, and advanced driver assist and infotainment systems. BYD Seal and Nio ET7 demonstrate what Chinese EV specialists can do when they control both the battery supply chain and the software stack: structural blade batteries, battery swap ecosystems, and aggressive ranges that compete with or beat many legacy brands. At the more experimental end, BMW's Neue Klasse sedan and the electric Mercedes-Benz CLA are redefining what a German premium compact sedan is. Instead of starting from an ICE platform and adapting it, they're purpose-built EVs with next-generation operating systems. BMW's deeply integrated eDrive and panoramic display concepts, and Mercedes' MB.OS with its AI virtual assistant, sitting on top of very efficient high-voltage drive systems. And then at the wild edge, you've got Xiaomi SU7 Ultra and Polestar 5 showing how far you can stretch the electric sedan template. One as a bonded aluminum 800-volt GT with supercar power, the other as a tri-motor, 1,500 plus horsepower smartphone company on wheels that happens to beat supercars in a straight line. So if you're watching this thinking, which one should I actually care about? Here's a quick way to frame it. If you want a calming, ultra-efficient long-distance cruiser with world-class safety and an understated cabin, the Volvo ES90 is probably the one you should keep tabs on. If you want an electric 3 Series, something that still feels like a driver's car first, the 2026 BMW Neue Klasse sedan is the car to watch as specs finalize. If you like your cars a bit left field, with real attention to driving feel, the Mazda EZ-6 BEV is a fascinating alternative, especially in markets where it's offered. The Kia EV4 is the smart money choice: proper range, fast charging, and loads of tech without a super premium price tag. If you want to frighten your passengers and chase take-hands, the Polestar 5 or Xiaomi SU7 Ultra are the nuclear options, while the Mercedes CLA EV will likely be the sweetest balance of efficiency, style, and software polish in the compact premium bracket. BYD Seal and Nio ET7 finally show where the Chinese EV players are going. With structural batteries, swap stations, and extremely strong range and performance, they're going to keep the traditional brands very honest. Whichever way you lean, 2026 is shaping up to be the year when the electric sedan stops being a niche curiosity and becomes the default. Whether you want quiet luxury, Autobahn-ready performance, or just a practical long-range daily, there will be something on this list that fits. On AutoPedia, we'll be following these cars into production and hopefully into some very thorough test drives. For now, let me know in the comments. If you had to pick one of these to live with for the next 5 years, which one would it be and why?